Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 podcast for this Sunday night. I'm Gav, and with me I have the usual lads, the A team, Keith, Seany, and Grizz. Grizz is losing his hair, and as a result, he keeps putting a hood above over it. Don't know why. I think it's because he's losing his hair. He has a right to reply though.
I started losing my hair when I was 12, Gav. So that's not the reason, Gav.
Yeah, don't make me go into jokes about you when you were 12. It doesn't end well. But of course, listen, this show
plenty of hair.
Yeah, Fatback. I don't know why you just keep covering up.
It's just all over the place.
Must be just witness protection. Not to worry.
Yeah,
game is doing going well, but Grizz.
I haven't had time to do
a lot of look at the beard.
You know, I haven't had time to do it all up like Seany. You know, Seany like fucking spends half an hour.
Seany gets out of bed and looks like that.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
That's why he's always late.
Grizz, I haven't even got jokes done. That tell you I won't prepare.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. Well, I'm
he's
not
just naturally fantastic.
Family show. I'm not gonna.
But look, there's loads to get through tonight. There's a little bits on transfers. Want to talk to you about our sponsors. An upcoming, I suppose, money raising scheme we're looking for. Not for us, it's a charity thing, and you'll know about it already, but we'll remind you of it later. We want to talk about, of course, the FA Cup Friday night and the draw coming up. We want to talk about Michael Oliver and his admissions about VAR, and there's loads to get through. But first of all, I'm going to talk about Marine Football Club. That today were expectedly, they were beaten, as expected, beaten by Tottenham in the cup. But Seany, this was a great story, wasn't it? Because they get a great draw, they get through, they get a great draw. The lockdown comes, they can't have anyone in the ground. They're looking to maybe sell 600 or 700 virtual tickets. It tops 20,000 virtual tickets. You've sponsors flying in all over the place. It was a brilliant story, wasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose like the FA Cup has lost its touch for many in recent times, but when you see stuff like this is what it's all about. It means a lot to sides from even as low as League Two. Even if they can get a big draw, it's huge financially for those clubs. But it's just a shame that that ground wasn't full today and roaring with Marine hopefuls, you know what I mean, who will probably, let's be honest, will probably never see anything like that again at the ground. Now, I've seen there was a lot of people hanging around outside the ground and that, and they done well with the virtual tickets. But it's just a shame for the club in a time like that, but it's brilliant to see. It's a bit mad when you see the camera in the home dressing room and all, the way Match of the Day normally do at BBC when they're showing the game live. It's cool, like you could see it in the players' faces, and you could see some of the Tottenham lads walking out going, what the fuck is going on here, you know what I mean? Like, do I shout at the shoulder with whoever, and you could see the lads from Marine kind of looking up going, holy shit. And although we played a Premier League outfit the other night, it was very much the same for those Villa lads, 18-year-olds. A massive opportunity for some of them. But it's good to see the magic of the Cup. It's probably the only magic part of the FA Cup now is when you see a minnow sneaking into the third round like that and getting a big boy. But yeah, it was good.
Well, I think the money they've earned will last them a long time, because they got their TV rights, but like you said, with no one in the ground, and it still is a pity, because you want whatever that can hold to be full and people raucous and stuff like that. And it mightn't have made a difference to the result, but it would have been a case of a couple of thousand people saying I was there, when Marine played in the third round against Spurs. Keith, it is so important for these small clubs, isn't it? Because like if you add up, I think they sold 20,000. You're looking at 200,000.
30,697.
Okay, so at least 300,000 £300,000 there for them, and probably somewhere close to that maybe in TV money. It's absolutely massive for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's good to see. It's been we talked about, Sean, you were talking about the magic of the cup there, and there's been a few stories, and he's dead right. The Aston Villa young fella scoring against us, right? We came out on the right side of that. We spoke about it the other night, but it was a great moment to see that young lad score, and the joy on all those lads' faces when he scored that was brilliant to see. And then we had Crawley beating Leeds today, 3-0, bleeding Mark Wright out of Towie and all, and getting a game for them. And then
what was going on there?
Yeah, then you follow it up with Spurs hopping off Marine, but Marine made the money. Spurs as well. Did you see, because of the big bleeding hoo-ha about Liverpool players swapping shorts with the Villa lads, Spurs brought a full set of non-match worn shirts.
Ah, that's nice.
To give
That was a
them.
nice
So
touch.
they gave them all the shirt of the player they wanted. Do you know what I mean? I know it's not the match worn one, but with the big deal that was made out of Air lads giving the Villa players, it was a good gesture by Spurs. So Spurs came out very well out of that. I think that's the sort of thing, and I'd say Mourinho was at the forefront of that because he's a bastard and he's a snide, but he's very good for that sort of side of it. I'd say Mourinho drove a lot of that with what Spurs were doing to make sure that those lads got as much out of that game as they possibly could, because you're right, they lose out on the match day sort of revenue, but 30,000, I mean, that's phenomenal what they're after doing.
I loved the fact that, did you guys not see the gardens on the side of the pitch? The back gardens of houses.
The housing, sorry.
The housing, that was amazing. I thought that was pure. It took me back to my El Nino days. I'm not lying. I'm not joking. I thought it was wonderful for the club, and it's as Seany says, a massive shame that they couldn't get fans in there, because that is also the 16-year-old kid who jumps on for Spurs. What a story that is, Did you see the size of him and like the glee on his face when he came on? So look, I agree with all you guys about the FA Cup and the magic and the romance of it sort of diminishing season upon season, but maybe in a weird way, maybe with all what we've talked about, even including our game against Villa, maybe it's coming back. You never know.
The one-off,
maybe.
Yeah,
it's a one-off. Yeah, probably.
It all depends. It mightn't be a one-off. If Crawley get a massive fixture in the next round, they got a big one in Leeds.
They got City.
Did they? Oh yeah, already. It's already booked. But no, if they get a big one at home, you'd like to think that people around football will do the same. Like JJ says there, Gav sports fans bought thousands of tickets for that Marine game. Yeah, respect to them. Absolutely. Matt Hayes from the Tottenham blog with a super chat. He says we finally found a team from Liverpool we could beat. Good point. But listen, it was Brian Murphy says top marks to Carragher and his foundation for stepping up with the sponsorship. Of course, Marine were let down by a sponsor to the value, I think, of £20,000 because the game went into lockdown to be known at the ground. So I think they stood in and they sponsored dugouts and all sorts of stuff. But it was absolutely brilliant. City will get Charlie at home, says Chris Brack. I can tell you, Newport are 1-1 with Brighton in extra time at the moment. Newport equalised in the 5th minute of injury time. Yeah, there's a few in there.
Blackpool as well beat West Brom.
Yeah,
the only team West Brom could beat is fucking us.
Yeah, but no, listen, it was an absolutely brilliant story, and we just wanted to say something about it at the start of the podcast, because like you do see all these big teams going for, you can forget this stuff by the end of the season, but that today I think showed like a team that were really relying on this cup tie, and everyone kind of rallied around and made the only difference that they could have had was people in the ground. So in fairness, it was.
I just checked that Newport one there, Gav. 96-minute equaliser on Newport.
6 minutes of injury time.
There you go.
Against Brighton.
Brilliant. That's the sort of
more
thing
magic. More magic.
You need to realise, like, we're lucky in the sense that we support the side like Liverpool. There's lads who travel country far and wide in normal times, supporting Solihull Moors or someone like Forest Green. They go country wide up and down with them. So, like, football means different things to many people. Exactly. And a lot of these things, like, football is very much a community thing from grassroots level up. Now, that's kind of gone now from Premier League,
the elite side
towards that. Yeah, when you get to the elite side. But it's great to see that side of the game is still very much alive. You know what I mean? Like, there's people there at that club who can tell their grandkids about that. There's lads who lined out today against Spurs who can tell their grandkids around that. And look, we all love football for the romance of football. That's what it's always been about, the thrill and the agony. And we feel like the game is probably being overpoliced and far and stuff coming in and the money getting thrown about in the talks of European Super League. So it's kind of refreshing to see stuff like that every now and again. And a credit to BBC, because they always make a good stab at giving the minnow the flowers, like whether it's on Football Focus or the build up on Match of the Day. It was great to see.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant to see. I need to put someone in charge of likes here this evening. I'm not doing it to letting Grizz be in charge, because he just shouts at people, and I don't think that's the right attitude to have. But if you want to be in charge of the likes in the chat, let me know. Please hit the like button, subscribe, all the usual stuff. There's super chats flying in as well. If you want to do that, that's absolutely fine as well. That's completely up to you. Stephen Somerville with a super chat says thoughts on Genie wanting to win the FA Cup. He was asked about it, Stephen. I think that's just a case of he's not going to come out and say he doesn't want to win it. I'd be upset if Genie came out and went, I hope we lose the next round, but I suppose, I said this the other night when we were talking to Joe and Chris, all right, you're in the fourth round and you could kind of go, we can kind of knock this in the head. If you win another game or two, it's quarter-final time, and then it gets serious, Exactly. So we'd have to wait and see who we get in the fourth round and what approach we bring to it.
Before we move off the FA Cup, Gav, sorry for jumping in. Is it frustrating? Does anyone else think it's frustrating when you see Watford, for example, and not just Watford, loads of teams do this, playing weakened teams when they go in to the FA Cup? Not that you can understand Man U, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea making changes because they have the squads and all that. But when you see smaller teams doing it, and even the likes of Everton, you know what I mean, that haven't won a trophy since 1995. Should more teams be going hell for leather for these cups, or is it becoming a fashionable thing that not just Premier League, Championship teams and all sort of rest a lot of players for it? Is it really becoming a League One, League Two?
It depends where you are when it comes around. If you're the Championship side and you're middle of the table, now the Championship's a bit mad because you could be 15 points off the playoffs, and then 10 games later you could be in the automatic spots. It's mental. But I think the Championship sides do look at it. If you're up the top end, they're looking going, we have to make them playoffs or nail that automatic spot because the money is absolutely massive. For Premier League sides, there's probably a couple in the middle that go, have a good go, but you don't want to be dragged in to a relegation scrap because of what they're trying to do in the FA Cup. And likewise, if you look from 10th up in the Premier League, they will all think they have a chance of European football in some sort of way. So that's what kind of throws her, I think, a little bit. There's very few clubs out there that could be in a position in January where they go, we're not going down, we're not going to make Europe, let's make the FA Cup a go.
I think a big part of it is, lads, is just how, what's the word I'm looking for? How fickle even the boards of football teams have become now, where these clubs in the Championship can't really risk the big players, because if they end up going on a bad run in the Championship, you're gone. If you're a manager in the Championship now and you 4 or 5 without a win, you get the bullet. It's as simple as that. The game is more cutthroat now than it ever was. And the thing is, the Championship, like you said, Keith, another big part of that is the Championship clubs are getting more money now than they ever did. So a big FA Cup tour is not making much of a difference to them. It's not paying the bills. It's not keeping the light on. So if you look at League One and League Two, it might make a difference to them. So that's for me where it comes into with the Championship. The cash is starting to roll. It's getting to a stage now where the Championship teams could probably do without the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. And you said, and that's the flip side of it, Gav. Like you said, if you're within 15 points for playoff spot come around the second half of the season, every single team in the Championship will fancy themselves making a run on it. So they don't take risks anywhere else. So, and the Championship is mad because the Championship is nearly 2 games a week in a regular season. So that's what people don't realise. We don't realise that the Championship, there's midweek games on all the time with them, and even more so now, they just don't take the chance. And it does make sense to me.
Yeah, Plus Battery gives £5 to as a donation to the Keen Strong appeal. So thanks a million for that. We'll take a note of that for you. Newport versus Brighton has just gone to penalty, so I'm sure somebody will keep us up to date on that one. Moving on, I want to talk about Alaba because Grizz, I'll come to you first. There was a little bit about this last week. It was in the papers that Liverpool were looking at Alaba on a possible pre-contract for the summer. Of course, his contract is up at Bayern Munich. He's turned down an offer from them, from what I believe, and Liverpool are seen to be heavily interested. Real Madrid, of course, seem to be the likely destination. I know, Seany, you were saying about Real Madrid being heavy on David Alaba, but Grizz, this has come back up again. Where do we stand on this? Because I think, what a fucking signing if you do that.
It kind of makes sense if we're not gonna give Ginny what he wants.
Yeah.
And that's the rationale I'm using to make it make sense. It does. And the fact that there's no fee involved, you know, and the fact that he's an amazing player in 2-3 positions. Yeah. So it points to Liverpool being interested. I think it's gone beyond interest now. I think I tweeted today that, you know, it's very serious now, and we've made an actual offer for him. But look, it reminds me very much of the THIAGO scenario, but in terms of where THIAGO wanted Liverpool, it seems as like Alaba wants Madrid. So they're both free transfers. They both refused what Bayern have thrown at them, and Bayern have thrown everything at them, because you don't want to be losing Alaba from that squad, because Alaba's like, I don't know how to sort of compare him to anyone in the Liverpool squad, but he's amazing at centre back. Sorry, he's very good. He's unbelievable in 2-3 positions, and he's so valuable. And he'd fit us like a glove. Honestly, Gav, this kid could just. And I don't want to say anything that will people will start jumping on me about disrespecting Ginny. Ginny's fantastic. Ginny's done an amazing, truly remarkable job in the last 4 years, 5 years, however long he's been here. And we will never forget Ginny Wijnaldum. Absolutely never, ever forget him. But Alex Ferguson and United knew exactly when to make the change, or make the transition, or let people go at the right time. And I'm not saying this is the right time. I'm suggesting it could be. And we've got to, and if so, then the able deputy, in my eyes, in my opinion, at the moment, would be Alaba, who would be the perfect fit. But again, I think THIAGO will have to have a word with him to sort of kind of persuade him and tell him what life's like at Liverpool and how big we really are. And I don't know, Sean was telling me beforehand about the finances at Madrid aren't pretty,
They're in a bad way. They're in a very bad way.
From what I've been told, we've offered him 9 million a year, which, according to my quick maths, is about 170k a week. And he's asking 250, but they always ask 250. His agent and him have sort of said 13 million. So we've offered 170k a week, which kind of makes sense, guys. If he's going to be a free transfer, a 4-year contract, give him 170k a week, that works out to be like probably in the region of about 32 million pound. Now, if you told me Alaba's available in the market for 35 million pound, fucking snap your hands off. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those, but we are very serious about him. A couple of weeks ago, there was rumors and all over Twitter, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. But today I found out that we are actually very interested in and made an offer.
Okay.
James People Smith in the chat are asking about, sorry, Gav, I keep cutting across you, apologies. People in the chat are saying,
when this lockdown is over.
That's it. People in the chat are saying, why would you pay Alaba and not give the money to Genie? Look, it's a strange one. They're the same age and all that, but Genie, it's probably not that they're not giving Genie the money. Genie probably just wants a new challenge, and if he wants to go, Genie goes with best wishes, a pat on the back. Alaba comes in. Genie has a lot of miles in his legs as well. He has a lot of Klopp miles in his legs.
Very important.
That I think people don't. There's a blatant premium from our side on that as well. So it could be a case that they're going to bring in a player that's the same age.
These lads are all but these lads are all on a meter. Like, they will know exactly how much gas is in the tank with every single one of these lads.
Yes.
The sports scientists, top of their game. They know exactly the thresholds that these lads can go through.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be massive to this squad going forward. Like Grizz said, just knowing the right time when to stick and when to move. Now, I'd love Genie to stay, but if you're telling me Genie goes and Alaba comes in, covers 3 or 4 different positions in the summer, Jesus, you'd be laughing. But like, the thing is, a lot of these players want to go to Madrid these days, but Madrid aren't in good nick at all. Following a lot what's going on in Spain. Spain has been the worst affected country of coronavirus, bar them all. It's a country that never really recovered from the last recession, and you need to realise that the Galactico era is sort of over, bar the Hazard coming in, but they had a lot of money coming in from other ways.
And that's Madrid,
and Madrid are in the process of building €1 billion stadium. So,
wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I totally slipped my mind. Absolutely slipped my mind.
So they are they're already letting players. For years and years, Madrid would be happy for players like Isco and the likes to stick around, but they're moving these players on now. They're saying Asensio might go, Isco might go. They'll get that to give a Modric a big contract. They're telling Ramos, who is probably, arguably, bar Ronaldo, the most influential player who's played for the club in the last 10 years, they're telling them that they can't actually afford to do this thing that they do every year with them, where they just keep giving them more money. It's got to stop. So Madrid are in a bad way. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't want to go on FSG's back, but I'm just not sure that our owners are going to go splashing the way everybody thinks that they will, because there's very little to suggest that they will. Because looking at Alaba in the summer, I don't care about fucking Alaba in the summer. I'm looking at a situation now, and we need someone now, and there's no real rush to get it done.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
When there should be. Now, you know me, lads, I'm sort of rational when it comes to these transfer things, and I understand that it can take time and you don't want to get rolled, but we're desperately in need of a body here, and there doesn't seem to be any rush in getting anything done.
No, there doesn't.
And all the talk is we don't want to spend this much because I'm hearing there's a big summer coming for the last 2 or 3 years. Now, obviously, Corona came and fucked everything up, but I don't know. If Alaba's coming this window, that's fucking great, but I'm not interested in what's going on in the summer because there's still a league title here to be won. It's really, really winnable. There's a chance for it to win multiple trophies this season if we just get the business done now.
Yeah, James Smith gives us €10 for Keane. I hope that helps. It does. Every single penny helps. I am taking a note of these. If you put in a super chat as a standard super chat, that's absolutely fine to support the channel. If you put in a super chat and let us know it's for Keane, that's absolutely fine, and I will take a note of it and make that donation on your behalf. Let me see. Gavin Walsh, just on Alaba, he says, I hope Alaba isn't our centre-back option for the summer. He believes there's better options out there. Jono says, and a couple of people have mentioned this, Chelsea in for Haaland and Upamecano. Apparently, Roman really has found his love for Chelsea again. There's loads coming in there with regards to Alaba and how people feel about it. I'm with you, Seany, and I'm going to get to Keith and Grizz, and I'm going to answer the same question, but I'm with you. I think Alaba in the summer is good business, even at somewhere if it was 9 or 10 or 11 million a year on a 3-year deal or whatever it might be. I think it's good business because he is versatile. He can play centre back, he can play left back. I've seen him play as a 10. I've seen him play as a 10 against Ireland, and he was unbelievable. He was fucking out of this world. But you know, I'm with Seany on this. I think when you're looking, Liverpool have taken risks in the transfer window over the last couple of years, and I think this might be one risk too far, because we know why. 2 young centre halves, our main 2 are out. Fabinho was there, we're relying on him being fit, of course, Matip and the fitness stuff. I think it's a big ask for Liverpool to A, win a title, or B, a Champions League, or both, without making a signing in this window. And I'm not into all this a big window in the summer. That's not my interest. Although if you told me it's a big window and Alaba is the start of it, that's absolutely fine. But I'd like to be going into this summer on the back of another successful season where we've made a dent in January, and we're, instead of betting 4 in summer, we're betting 2 or 3 because we've made something in January and we've improved ourselves. Keith, Alaba, fine, great, good player. But are you still of the opinion that why just do something in January, even if it means missing Alaba, go for someone else that you can get in January and miss him? Would you be all right with that?
Look, I think January, if it was me, I think they need even a loan, just get a body in to do them, to cover for the season. That, if they don't want to spend to have an impact on what they're going to do in the summer, and if they can get Alaba, I think Alaba would be the Genie replacement. I don't even think they'd look at him as a centre-back. I think he'd be a jack of all trades, to be honest. I think they'd plug him in everywhere. But I just think it's a strange one. I agree with what the lads, Seany and Gav, have said. I can't see a huge sort of, we don't do big, huge rebuilds. We don't really do much. Do we? Bits and pieces here and there. But with the talk of FSG being worried about finances, I can't see a big, 300, 400 million splurge in the summer to bring in all these players that we're supposedly linked with. So I don't know. I don't know if Alaba is the right move. unless they've changed their tack and unless they are saying you give Alaba the money. If you get Alaba, as Grizz says, if they can get Alaba for 170 a week, right, and that's what Genie wanted, and they're basically saying we can get a player who can play 4 or 5 positions
for the same wage.
at the same wage.
And
Keith, and that could be what they're thinking. I don't know. But
is it? I've heard you say same age a couple of times now.
He could be a year younger, but
I think Alaba's 28, Keith. No,
yeah,
Keith,
28, 29. I pulled him up on that grid, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I didn't let it go. I thought, no, to catch him up.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, it's Alaba's last.
I think it makes a difference. I don't think so, Keith. This is where I don't think so. Because I think 28 is absolute peak. We've just had 2-3 seasons of some of the best players in the world at their peak, and it was all 28, 27, yeah? So Alaba's 28, whereas Genie's going to be 31 next year.
I think we can throw this FSG model thing, age model out the window now that we brought in a THIAGO. So
we discussed that, didn't we? We discussed that in the summer where we changed now. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when we were first linked with THIAGO, I was thinking, I don't think we'll go for that. But when I see this link to Alaba, I'm thinking, Jesus, why not? It's literally another situation where a player who's played at the highest level for the majority of his career, 4 or 5 years now, is available with gas in the tank.
Yeah.
You'd be mad. And
is interested by all accounts.
Yeah, you'd be mad not to be in the hat for these players. Like, this is what Champions League football is all about. This is all about when we brought Klopp in, you want to be in the Champions League. This is the whole reason to be attracting these type of players, not to be just winning trophies, but to be at the top table for the biggest talents to come in and to nurture them. Now we've a brilliant reputation of making good players great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we don't need to do that with THIAGO, and we don't need to do that with Alaba. These are ready-made world-class stars ready to go into the team.
Yeah.
And the more of them we have, the better chance we have of winning trophies and keep going on. But it's going to come down to the financial situation, because, look, nobody likes to hear about. We're still living in a bleeding world ravaged with COVID, and it just seems to be the rumour that Liverpool have loads of money. We've seen absolutely nothing to back it up yet, because even the financials are showing, we're doing well, but we're not quite there yet.
I think the financials on the THIAGO deal and the Jota deal shows that you may have money, but they're being a lot more careful with that. And that's not just Liverpool; that's everybody. They're all looking for, even at the other end of the scale. If you look at United and Sancho, United wanted to pay 80 million up front, which is a massive amount of money, but they couldn't go to the 100. They couldn't go to that 108 million or whatever it was pounds, because it was just too much of a stretch for them. And they tried to, do it in installments, and Dortmund said no. So I think you see a lot of clubs will go in and go 10 million up front and we owe you 20 million down the line or whatever. And that's just common sense in this market. People will have a go at FSG because why aren't they spending this, why aren't they spending that? But if you watch the deals that go through, and if Spurs do a deal and you go and listen to Matt on the Tottenham blog, I'm sure he'll look into that a lot more, and he'll be able to say to you, well, you remember Liverpool paid 5 million up front for THIAGO. We done the exact same with player A, B, or C. If you go Arsenal, League Gunner will be able to tell you the same. Whereas we just see teams 50 million. You go, they spent 50. Well, they didn't. Yeah. They spent 10. And Arsenal are taking out loans now to cover because of stuff. Yeah, but the Arsenal
football has always been that way, Gav. Very few transfers are paid up front.
I get that, but the loan they took out, Seany, for me was a bit strange, because if you look at their owner and the amount of money their owner has, why wasn't the loan taken out with him? Get an interest-free loan to cover them. They're taking it out on Arsenal's back from a bank. It's a bit, now maybe too much is made of it because it's done all the time, but like Liverpool build a new stand, the loan comes from the owners. That kind of way. It's just, these things are happening.
Are they not making? Are they not just using a loophole and using a government scheme? Because this is a government scheme where they're taking the money from.
Yeah, it might be. It might be, but businesses. Yeah, it might be. But at the end of the day, Spurs and I know Arsenal have, but I'd be looking at them going, why isn't Arsenal owners turning around going, listen, away from Arsenal, they have all these other assets. We'll put 100 million up as a loan to this part of our franchise, I suppose.
There you go, Gav. You hit the nail on the head. That's a decision that was made in Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's the same. That was a decision that was made in LA by American businessmen. They don't look at football the way that we do. Like Stan Kroenke doesn't have the same interest as your man DT from Arsenal Fan TV or any of them boys, or the regular Joe Shope who's turning up to the Emirates. It's the same way the Glazers. They probably don't even know who fucking United are playing most weeks. It's just business to them now. And when the ledger books come in, they look at the two columns on the bottle, and if it's healthy, that's all they give a fuck about.
Yeah.
So
Ramiz Khalil with a super chat, he says, I completely agree with Sean. I don't understand the club's apathy in a season where we arguably a centre-back away from multiple trophies. Well, it's not even that for me. It's you're going to need to make this change in the summer, I believe. But it's being pushed upon you now that you need to do it now. Because what you think is going to happen in the summer, i.e. Matip's not reliable enough, let's change it. It's happening now. Let's do it now. Let's get this player 6 months down the line.
The issue is, Gav, and I think it's quite clear that the issue is that the targets that you're saying that bring forward, they can't. The clubs won't release them. It's a two-way thing, Gav.
I understand that. I completely understand that.
So what we have to do now, but what I will say, before people say, oh, I'm back in FSG here, what I will say is there's absolutely no way we can't be creative or have scouts that are scouting for us, and we've arguably got some of the best scouting system around Europe, that we can't find a centre-back that not only fits our profile, but our wage structure and our price range. I will say that. I agree with that. But to get the targets from summer to bring forward, that's not easy, and it's just not going to happen at the moment.
Okay. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see at the end of January. We're going to have to wait and see. And it could be a case where they wanted something and it couldn't happen, like you were saying, Grizz. Or it could be a case where they went, no, we go with what we have. And only the end of the season will tell us if that decision is right or wrong. Alaba apparently is 29 in June. A lot of people are saying that they don't see it happen with Alaba. It looks he wants too much money that Liverpool wouldn't be willing to pay at that age. But we've seen the THIAGO stuff. And the other thing is that somebody, I think it might have been Jono, if it wasn't, I apologise. He says that talk from Alaba is that he wants to be a centre back. He doesn't want to be a left back or a midfielder anymore. He wants to be a centre back.
No,
I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true that is.
I thought his issue with Bourne is that he wanted to play centre mid.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely is.
I could have got that wrong. I could, and I apologise if I've misquoted the person in the quote. But it seems to be what I'm trying to get to is that the talk of him being a utility man and being able to go here, there, and everywhere might be off the mark because he might be just want to be a centre back or a centre midfielder.
Once you get him in the door, then he gets centre mid next week, right, David? We need you at left full. Get in there for 6 weeks. Andy Robbo picks up a knock. He'll be playing there. It's like James Milner wanted to be a centre mid as well, and then he just got put where he got put. The thing with Alaba, and something Sean, before we move on from Alaba, sorry for going back to this, as Sean touched on the state of thing in Madrid. Alaba and his outfit have been saying for years that he wants to go to Madrid or Barcelona, Madrid, Barcelona. As Sean touched on there, it's a different landscape over there now. It's a different landscape everywhere, but especially in Spain. Them big Spanish clubs cannot do the kind of figures. When you look at what the deals Barca are trying to do, where they're trying to get Genie, they're not going to get Genie and give Genie 250 grand a week. They're not going to give Memphis Depay 250 grand a week. They're having to be clever with the deals that they're trying to pursue as well. So the Spanish teams aren't going to throw too much money at it, I don't think, as well. So I think Liverpool are in a good chance of getting David Alaba. I don't think they've any chance of getting him in January, but I think we do have a chance of getting it done for the summer. And I think it would be with the eye that, or the people are pulling me up about the Genie, and that nice one, Grizz, about the Genie and Alaba age thing, but they're in the same part of their career as me sort of point.
Yeah, correct.
In that they're reaching their 30s and their last big sort of elite status contract, want of a better word. And I think you get Alaba for less to come to Liverpool than what he'd look for to go to Madrid. It's my own take on it. I think want to play for a manager my sway.
In a footballing sense, you may be right, but you're saying they're in the same stage of their career. We've spoken about Genie getting one last big contract somewhere and a different challenge. David Alaba's going to look the exact same. I don't know what he's on at Bayern Munich, but I think I disagree with you slightly. I think if Real Madrid come along and offer David Alaba 250 grand a week, I don't think he turns them down for Liverpool at 170, because it probably is the last mega contract.
Oh yeah.
3 or 4 years brings him to 32, and he can go back to Austria and play or whatever he wants to do.
But so get Man City coming in and offering 300 grand a week as well.
You could do.
I offer 350. That was like
exactly. And I'd find it very hard to believe that only Liverpool and Real Madrid are making contact with David Alaba as we speak. Liam Cotter with a super chat of $21.99, random number, I like it. He said, "Hi lads, €10 for the channel and the rest for Keane. If that's okay, that's absolutely okay. Just think if there was a centre back coming in this window, it would have happened already. Dreading the inevitable Matip injury on February the 3rd. Hope I'm wrong." Yeah, I know where you're coming from. Pat Panisar, of course. Reminds me and Keith of all the great songs from the great Pat Benatar. Just a little support to the channel, £10. Absolutely love the channel. Keep up the great contact, Pat. You're an absolute. I don't know whether Pat's a man or a woman because Pat is. You know, but you're a
Pat's a legend. Doesn't matter what.
Just a legend. Yeah, I didn't know. You know. I don't know where to go with that.
Sean goes, Pat's a legend. Doesn't matter what he is.
Well, I don't know what he, she, they, them, the pronouns are. So I just went with the one that you have to
play the percentages.
You know what I mean? I could identify as a fucking green wheelie bin for all we know.
And there is a few of them out there. But someone says, Steve Max says it's tax reasons with the $21.99. That's great. Absolutely. If you're on a par with the tax, you're absolutely flying. But look, I'm sure more will come of Alaba, and we have got a transfer show coming up during the week at some stage. Jeez, the week is getting packed at this stage because I know Grizz is looking for a carnage to get going on Wednesday night, I think, with a special Manchester United guest. We have got a midweek fix to try fit in, and we have a new show coming on Thursday, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It does loads happening. Let's move on. Seany, you said to me today and to others in a WhatsApp group, you said, lads, I've just seen Michael Oliver give us reasons behind the whole VAR and VVD stuff. Now, we're not going to spend too long on this because I get overly upset and drink too many cans. But Seany, what did you make of this? Because your original thing was our players weren't given out enough. That's why it happened. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, well, look, they should pull it. They should see that. Can I just start on the whole thing as a whole? Regarding Michael Oliver, I'm shocked that this is even a thing that they came out and said, "Oh, look, it was sort of a fucking half-handed apology," and then they flipped the script at the end. But the fact that they sent Oliver is even more. It just shows how a touch that these are. That they send literally, apparently, so their best man out to say, "Oh, look, this is what it is." It's a fucking shit show, Gav. And I hate going back to it because a part of me as a football fan fucking kind of died that day. I haven't felt the same since for a number of reasons. It was just the way it came out. But yeah, I think that we've come this far by being a lovely team, I think we're top of the fair play and all. But you need to realise that the scope has changed now. Everyone wants to beat us, so you have to become a bit more like a bastard. You have to do that to maintain success. It's just part and parcel. You need to grow thick skin. You need to get another suit of armour. You need to be dirty. When you need to be dirty, that's one thing I noticed from being at games at Anfield. Virgil never, ever, ever leaves the officials alone. He's always roaring. He's always the one roaring. And Hendo, very much the same. But all about to come out and say, well, we didn't really hear any protests from their players, so we didn't think that we got much wrong. We'll just go to show you how fucking out of touch they are. Because without going overboard, it's a horror challenge. If you've done it to someone on the street, you probably get time in prison if you attack someone like that. Now, I'm not going to say...
If it happens outside the box, you get sent off.
Yeah, and if it happens outside the football ground, you get locked up.
If the keeper comes out and does that outside the box, he gets sent off.
Yeah, so
nothing about spreading himself or doing anything.
It's mental. I just find it's I don't know who looks at the PGMOL, is it that looks after them?
Yeah.
I don't know whose decision it was in them for it to say, look, you know what we'll do? We'll go to the papers and we'll talk about the fucking game from October and where you made a mistake.
I have a feeling the papers approached.
But Gavin, it's this idea that they're having some sort of that it's this idea now that, oh, look, we actually are accountable. Man, they're fucking not at all. If you want to be accountable, you should be pulled directly after a game.
Yeah, it's like admitting to a murder on your deathbed, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but then turn around saying, oh, well, it was his fault.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking ridiculous. I'm even more enraged at a situation that I didn't think I could possibly become more enraged about.
Well, you see, the thing for me is, and I'm sure Keith and Grizz have an opinion on it as well, but the thing for me about it is I read that today, and I get your point of view, Sean. You know, we should have been all over him and stuff like that. But my overriding thing about this is that when you read it, he's basically showing you the flaws. He's showing you how the processes don't work, and he's trying to pass blame. He's trying to pass blame to Liverpool players because Liverpool players didn't ref the game for him. Now, if Liverpool players surrounded that referee and went absolutely berserk, you could be guaranteed a couple of them be booked. You could guarantee that afterwards they could have been got fines. Liverpool could have got a fine for not keeping their players under control, because that happens. If you surround the referee in numbers, you can be, fined after the event and stuff like that. But when reading that today, I thought the big thing that came over for me was the flag is delayed, and he says, "I'm giving a penalty if that's not offside." Right?
So why is he giving
and then they go, it takes a minute. David Q takes a minute to look at this and then says he's offside. And Michael Oliver immediately forgets about the incident in the box. And what compounds it, and I said it at the time, what compounds it for me is that on the 90th minute, he gives a free kick to Liverpool, and Richarlison goes in on a tackle after the whistle and folds fucking THIAGO in half, right? And he sends him off for that. Now, people will say, "Oh, but it happened right in front of him, Gav. It was so obvious." Yeah, that's correct. But if it's not so obvious, that's where he has all this technology and people around him.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is that. And I said it at the time, and people said to me, "No, that is the exact same situation twice." And in one situation, they disregarded because they had a decision beforehand. And in the second one, they had a decision beforehand and they still went and red carded Richarlison. He is giving a penalty until that flag is confirmed as offside. All right. And even if he should have restarted that game with an offside and Jordan Pickford not on the pitch. That's exactly what he should have done. And for him to turn around, in my opinion, for him to turn around in the papers or on Sky or wherever he done the interview and say, "Oh, well, I was given the penalty," and then just that disappears, and to turn around and have the gall to fucking say, "Well, nobody really asked me about it." Well, we're not fucking here to ask you about it, Michael. You're here to make the fucking decision, and if you can't, all these other people are here to help you, not the players. Because we've been infuriated over years by actual teams refereeing games. They're reffing this fucking game. We're not getting a thing. I can't understand. That makes no sense to me, and I agree with you, Shawnee. How the PGMOL can allow him to come out and do that or sanction that is beyond belief. Absolutely beyond belief. Keith, am I wrong on what I'm saying, or do you want to give out to me?
Oh no, it doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is just a load of bollocks. He came out. He says as well that the number of times he's watched it, all Jordan Pickford done was he spread himself but went at the wrong angle. That's wrong for a start, because Jordan Pickford didn't fucking spread himself. Jordan Pickford lunged in 2-footed off the ground straight at Virgil van Dijk. It wasn't a spreading himself. It was a bleeding horrific tackle. Now, he saw the tackle. He saw the foul because he was given a penalty. So how the fuck can he say there's no foul there? David Coote spends a minute looking at that. A minute looking for an offside. He spent a minute looking for an offside. That's fucking joke.
Yeah, so what's it now? Once the game is dead, it's a free-for-all.
So because you see that this is my point.
That's what I'm saying. It based on their ruling. Like, so why didn't?
Well, it's not based on their ruling, because their ruling later on in the game completely contradicts what.
That's what I'm saying, Gav. What's the story? Where's the vindication? Why can't they just turn around? Oh yeah, well, what's the penalty for?
Yeah.
Well, what are you giving the penalty for? Well, check that foul. Oh, well, look at that foul. That's a red card, Michael. Look, we're talking about something that happened in October. And that just goes to show you how fucking bad it is. If they're going to be doing these things now, where they're coming out explaining every decision, the independent or whatever paper it was, I'd be better off just giving them their own column at this stage, because it's every single fucking week, and it's not just Liverpool. I've seen some shambolic refereeing performances this season. The Andre Mariner at St. Mary's last week is hands down one of the worst refereeing performances I've ever seen in my life.
And that's without any standout things like the Derby game, but it's an accumulation of every little thing that he just got wrong.
His just overall management of the game was shocking. The ability to consistently get things wrong is fucking impressive at this rate. It's shocking.
Master of Disaster says 3 months is just enough time for the fury to die down. That's what Oliver thinks. I think that's a great point. No, I think it's a great point. I think that might be the thinking behind it.
But he does it a week before the biggest game of the season.
Yeah. Yes, he does. But having said that, people could, from the opposite side, like United, look and go, he's done that. And look, he's actually come out and said he's done wrong against Liverpool here. We're fucked for next Sunday. But sorry, just one thing, Greg, so I want to get your opinion on it. Matt Hayes from the Tottenham blog says, just for your information, Michael Oliver was on the Marine Spurs game tonight. Punishment. And that's a big point because he's out telling you he's done wrong and he's still going around refereeing the biggest games. It's unbelievable. Grizz, go on. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, I'm not going to add much to it. I mean, I think you guys covered it absolutely spot on, and I agree with everything you guys said. It's just, it's like VAR's taken 3 months to work this one out. This is the longest fucking VAR decision ever, and it's still not clear what they're talking about and what they mean. They haven't followed protocols. He's admitted it, which you give him credit for. He has come out and done it. That can't.
Nah, me followed Chris because what did he caveat? He completely he caveated the whole expression.
He did.
By saying Liverpool didn't ref the game for him.
He did, but the thing is, it just is what it's doing is not covering themselves in glory at all. It's further, intensifying the pressure on them going into the second stage of the season, latter part of the season. They've changed. They've got protocols. What he's proved is they are human and they've made bad mistakes and they've made clear and obvious errors. Yet there's nothing being done about it. And and to flip it, he's had the audacity, I think, to come out in mid-season, not even at the end of the season, mid-season, while passions are still, running high, and we still remember the incident because it's probably the defining part of our season, in my opinion. I think. Oh yeah. I think that is the defining part
of their season.
I don't want to think about it. That's why I don't want to talk about it too much because
on the day, I think the biggest thing is on the day that arrives in the media, Michael Oliver is doing the biggest game in the FA Cup this weekend. It is the biggest game in the FA Cup this weekend. And he was refereeing it on the day that this was released. And don't tell me that Michael Oliver, the PGMOL, the FA, the Premier League, whoever it might be, did not know that was coming out today. All right, and he's still refereeing that big game today. It's absolutely unbelievable.
But it just shows, to me, that he was just nearly the patsy sent out to Bladen to talk this up. And you're the face, you're the ref there, you're the biggest ref in the league. If you go out and say this, they'll have a bit of gravitas. I know he was the ref on the day, but the VAR are there to assist the referee. Now, if he makes a mistake and he can't see.
Saying to him,
you need to look at that penalty.
Exactly. He is saying I'm giving that penalty. Now, when Keith come back and says he's offside, his first thing should have been, okay, I'm giving offside and a free out everything, but I want that looked at. And if I have to go over to the screen and look at myself, I want to look at that because listen, there's no way in hell he's looking at that going, oh, I'll give that penalty. He's looking at that going, fuck me, that's a penalty. He's at the bleeding going through. And he wants it looked at. But what happens is, between the two of them, they decide that it's an offside, everything else beyond that doesn't exist. And later on, everything else beyond the whistle does fucking exist for a Charleston. And quite rightly. Look, it just upsets me so much about this VAR. But that today just compounds everything for me.
Did Pickford get a yellow?
No.
So here we go. So this is a further point. So you'd like to think, if you notice that they're admitting that three months after the game, so you'd have to think that they probably realised that 1 hour after the game of analysing and doing the reports that they got that one wrong.
Yeah,
100%. So why wasn't Pickford retrospectively banned? Why didn't he make an example of him?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but you see, the thing is, like,
but hold on. So they missed an opportunity to look at something in retrospect and do nothing. But for that retrospect, 3 months down the line, they can release a fucking newspaper article around it.
Yeah,
but that means fuck off.
This is ridiculous. I cannot believe this came out. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know what angle they were coming from. I don't know what PR in the Premier League, FA. I'm not sure who come out with this. This would be a good idea.
It has to be the PGMOL, because if he done that off his own bat and that came out this morning, he wouldn't be refereeing this evening.
He gets sacked.
I'm being honest with you. He's just being pulled. James Smith says, like buttons, nearly 600 watching and just under 200 likes. There's a lot of people upset about the amount of likes in the chat. Listen, as we said, on your way in, hit the like. On your way out, hit the like. Or during, hit the like. It's absolutely whatever you can do. Look, it's one that'll rumble on a little bit. It does no
around
favor.
the same time that United got a penalty after the final whistle of a game. Now, I'm not saying, it was Man United got the decision, but the inconsistency with decisions and with VAR is what I think frustrates people the most. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're given things after the decision, and yet they couldn't look at the Pickford one. We spoke about this before, but people going mad. Seany said our team are too nice. People were lashing Pogba over last week for telling Luke Shaw to go down in the box.
It's the best way.
Right. Because he knows it'll get looked at now.
Yeah,
like,
it's the only way.
You have to have that bit of snide and bit of dirt about you and make them make the decision. And if they don't make the decision based on that, because we saw Marino's performance where Mane went, there was a handball and then a clip on Mane in the second half as well. Nothing was given. Force them into making that decision.
Find me a nice team that ever won the league. Find me a nice team that ever won the league, that didn't have nasty characters in that team and which are always on the ref's case. Find me one. I can't think of one.
No, but listen, but hold on, Grizz, hold on. I think if you look back at that footage, I don't think I would find it hard to believe, and it's 3 months ago, but I would find it hard to believe that when that ball goes to Van Dijk and then goes out behind the end line, that there isn't Liverpool players putting their hands up and saying that's a penalty. You know what I mean? Now, and then it gets all caught up in the furore of, is it offside? Hold on, I'm checking offside. I think he might be offside. And it gets lost a bit. And maybe players do kind of in the heat of the moment go, "Are he's fucking offside?" And maybe he should have been on top of him. But again, Liverpool players cannot referee Premier League games.
They're probably assuming that he's going to pick it up anyway.
Hold on, let me tell you this. If Liverpool go out next Sunday against Manchester United, right, and surround that referee with 3 or 4 players, every time he blows the whistle, they will be charged with not keeping their players in order. Right, not keeping the control of the players. I 100% guarantee.
They don't give them out. It's like they don't give them fines out every week because it happens in every single game. So you can't just turn around and say we're nice for that reason, because it happens in every game.
Do it, just do it, and deal with the repercussions afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm gonna leave it on this. Chris Black says the PGMOL came out and said that VAR saw the incident, so they couldn't retrospectively punish him, I presume, with Jordan Pickford. Now Oliver says he was wrong. So does this show the PGMOL didn't follow its own procedure? It's so contradictory. Exactly. Yes, that is exactly what happened. I want to move on, though, because Grizz said if you spend any more than 10 minutes on this, he's...
you spent about 58.
Yeah, well, listen, leave me alone, right? But we tried our best because we get very emotional. I want to move on. And the FA Cup game on Friday night against Villa, the lads done a brilliant show on Friday night after that game. If you haven't seen it or watched it or listened to it or whatever, go. It's available on our YouTube channel. It's also available on all podcast apps. But Gar, Grizz and Keith done an exceptional job on Friday night on that show. But I just wanted to see, after it all settled down, what do we take out of it? And we'll be quite quick on this, promise, Grizz. Seany, what do we take out of that? Do we take out of it some performances, some players getting goals, minutes in legs, stuff like that? What do you take out of it, bar the result and the performance and stuff?
I don't know, Gav. It's such a strange period in this Liverpool cycle that I don't really know what to make of that. If that was a performance off the back of a couple of wins, I'd be thinking, yeah, well, that's just one of them where you go away, FA Cup, it's not going to be our way. That was an opportunity for us to play well, and I don't think we played well, to be honest with you. From what I've seen of the game, watching it back, I watched the game back. I didn't get to watch it at the time. Obviously, when you watch the game back, knowing the result, it's a little bit different. You're not as critical. I thought we were very poor in the first half. I thought THIAGO really changed the landscape for attack in the second half. Looked much more like himself than the game at Southampton. You just got to hope that these next 7 days now we have to prepare for this United game are used to the maximum amount, and we get in there with our strongest team possible and play the way that we know we can play, because it just hasn't been up to it. And I'm not sure, look, putting the ball in the net always helps your strikers, because when it's not going your way, it's not going your way. You look at Werner now at the moment, what he would have done, and he got a couple of goals this week, so we'll see what that'll do for him. I don't think that was the issue with our players. It seems to be a little bit of a systematic thing with us at the moment. The bodies we're missing hasn't allowed us to play the system that we prefer to play. So I think the quick soon and Matip gets back and Jota gets back, that's when we'll see this Liverpool team at the level that's supposed to be. And who knows who we're going to have on Sunday going into the United game in centre-back. But it will have a big effect on us. So I see that this Villa game, I think it's bigger for the Villa kids and their mom. I'm not sure what it does for Liverpool, to be honest with you. I don't. That sounds like I'm being a negative fucker, because I am. Because it's a game we should have been winning. So they don't deserve too much praise or too much stick at the other end, because it wasn't good. It wasn't good enough for me to take anything from.
Yeah. A. Loringer says the biggest thing he took from the game was that the team was its own worst enemy in the first half, literally containing itself. The second half opened up more risk and we got the rewards for it. Grizz, is that something? That's a fair point. I think we did show more risk. Now, it was a tiring Aston Villa side, in fairness, but we did show more risk in the positions on the pitch, I thought, a lot higher. And also in the way we played, the passes we tried, the patterns we tried, rather than just wide and cross. We were trying to get in around them. Is that something that you can take over?
No.
Okay.
No. I was very critical of that first half straight after the game, and we don't often do match reactions. Well, I haven't done many. And one of the reasons is when you're like over passionate and you haven't time to gauge and reflect and whatever. And I got lashed out of it on social media saying, what the fuck's Grizz talking about? It wasn't that bad. We were in control. Now it's Sunday, Gav, and I've had a few days to contemplate and think and reflect, and I'm still sticking to my opinion that was shambolic. I mean, Seany's been kind, but Seany watched it afterwards when he knows the score and everything. I'm guarantee if he watched that first 45 minutes, he would have been frothing like me as well.
Minutes.
Hey?
Same 45 minutes.
No, but he knows the result and he knows,
but it's still, if you look at it without...
Keith getting his own back on that call from Grizz earlier, I love it.
No, that's fine. That's what
I agree from Grizz. Like, if I had been watching that, not knowing that we're going through, I would have been...
Oh, yeah. Guys, we're coming
back. Your emotion takes over.
That tree would have been fucked out the window.
My point
tree would have been rolled up and smoked.
Someone asked if that tree is getting bigger, or is it just a bit close at the end?
Well, if it's getting fucking bigger, it's going in the bin because it's plastic.
Is it beside the radiator, or maybe it's making it grow?
The fucking thing is fucking plastic, for fuck's sake.
Explain it. Look at Sean explaining.
What's the weather like in Spain? Grizz, what were you saying?
Gav, my point's still the same with regards to we were playing a team that was made up of 17 to 19 year olds. The average age was 18. 18 they were. We had some huge men out there in terms of not physically, mentally, won it all. Our attitude would have been go out there, smash 4 or 5, and then say, kids afterwards.
That's hard, isn't it?
It's not hard when you're being on the back of 2-3 performances that have been limp, to say the least. We can excuse them when they're playing Premier League players in terms of quality of every Premier League team is decent, is very good. Come on, Keith. We're playing kids here, and we're playing our first team. Now, the same players that have been lambasted and criticized had a chance to redeem themselves, smash a few goals in that first half, yet we still fucking played the same passive, conservative football, side to side. What the fuck was that first half? You could see on some of the frustration on the players' faces, like when they were missing the chances, there was like, what is going on,
Ultimately, when Seany gets the second goal, you could see him going, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. There's only one thing that changed that in that second half was when we brought in the man himself on, and he made not only the kids look like kids, but every other player look like kids. And that's what the judgment was.
The thing is, Grizz, what I took from it, and look, I'm not disagreeing with you. We done the show the other night. We went through all this, and I just think that, they were in a no-win sort of situation there because they were playing a team of kids. Tony Cascarino feels we disrespected it by not playing a team of kids.
Don't be giving him airtime with
it. But we had the team. Klopp said that was the team we lined up to play Villa. We didn't know it was going to be a team of kids. It happened very late on that this all broke. We had it's hard for them. It's hard for Mo Salah to stand on the throat of a bleeding 17-year-old.
It would be. I agree with you. It would be if he's been smashing it recently, and then you can say, it's hard for him to motivate.
But you're not thinking from watching.
But he's been criticised like fuck.
I know.
All of them have been criticised. I don't think they're in a no-win situation. I think they're in a I think they're in a very loose situation if you play like that. If you don't play like that, if you put your house in order, if you smash some goals and they'll say, whatever, no problem. That's fine. I'll take that. But if you play like the same that you've been playing against 16, 18-year-old kids that are just happy to be there. Did you see their faces?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see some of them? They were just happy to be their kids. And, a couple of times we were just kind of just holding them off. And there was no vibrancy to our play. There was no urgency. And, I get the not motivating ourselves, not being able to motivate ourselves. But I thought they should have been. That's my whole point in that.
I would suffer from not being able to motivate themselves in smaller games, is what I'm saying. The big games they seem to get themselves up for. The small ones will not. That was as small as they come because you're playing bleeding kids. And I just felt we scored 3 goals in 5 minutes or something in the second half to kill the game. We didn't go for many more. We didn't put them to the sword. It was like, right, we've won this. Let's.
The only thing. Well, I have to answer the original question. The only thing I took out of it was some of the play between Shaqiri, THIAGO, and Firmino was absolutely beautiful to watch. It's the kind of thing that you play PlayStation, and some of the things that you can do in a PlayStation, you was watching them do it, and that was beautiful. So that's the only thing I personally took from that.
I agree with you there. The only thing I took was the minutes in the legs for players that needed it. That's all.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I was glad I didn't do the match reaction show because I felt the first half was appalling, and not only I disagree with Keith. We're in a no-win situation. If we win that game 5-1, but it's 3-1 at half time, I think nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact we win at 1-1 and the manner of the performance, like if Liverpool play around Villa all the time and the keeper has a wordy and Villa break in and get a goal, you go, well, shit happens. But literally, lads, I watched it in real time, right? And the amount of touches players were taking. Now, and Gabriel made this point the other night, too many around the box. It was too many full stop. The ball was going into Henderson. He was taking a touch. He was taking another one. He was looking up. He was taking another one. And every time he took a touch, Villa just kept looking at each other and going, yeah, we're all in good position. And then he was playing passes, right? The intensity wasn't there. The urgency wasn't there. And the bravery on the ball wasn't there. Liverpool are well known for getting it out and 1-2 touch, 1-2 touch, 1-2 touch. It keeps going and it progresses up the pitch where Salah comes in narrow, Mane comes in narrow. They look to play around you. There was none of that. They were hanging out wide. They were standing beside their fullbacks at times, and it was just appalling. The thing I took out of it was Shaqiri got minutes, THIAGO got minutes, and THIAGO was very, very good. But an
18-year-old,
he should be right. But he gets minutes. Shaqiri gets minutes. Firmino gets on. They get little patterns going because they're on the pitch and they're getting minutes. That's all.
Guys, I guarantee you, our training sessions are more high quality than that opposition. I guarantee you, our squad has more quality.
Yeah, of course. If I see Liverpool sleepwalking for another 45 minutes of football between now and the end of May, I am gonna go fucking rasher.
Nice one.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It's ridiculous. And I can understand it in the big games where you've got to be tentative, but I don't know what it is. Something is not right. Something is off. Something is big. We spoke about this the other day in the WhatsApp because it's not all messing in there. The big switch is completely gone out of our game. That's a pass that you'd hear commentators talking about every single time. It's what you see every week up until recently to be a clip of a Trent just zinging 60, 70-yard balls across the pitch, getting them completely stretched and moved out of position. That facet of our game has completely gone out of play. It's crosses from deep now into the back stick.
I agree with you.
It's so monotonous. It's so methodical. Lads, if we were winning every week playing that football, I'd still be annoyed because at the end of the day, we watch football to be entertained. The best thing about this Liverpool team is just how brilliant we were to watch. The neutrals fell in love with us. It's gone. I can understand why it's gone. We rode our luck with the injuries. Well, we didn't ride our luck because we had a horrible luck, but we got on with it. It's starting to take its toll now because I know Pep Linder says the system hasn't changed, but it has because you haven't got your centre-back breaking the press with 60, 70-yard diags and then all of it, like cats on hot tin roofs, getting up the pitch, springing traps. It's all gone. There's a complete lack of confidence in the squad, and I think we do need a body at centre back, and you need to play our way out of these situations. And I would have been happy to watch us play our way out of this situation against their under-18s Villa team, but we didn't. And that's why it was very, very frustrating, because we got the win, but the performance did a little or nothing for us.
I get you on the big switch. It's becoming less and less of an asset to us. But on top of that, it's the positions players are taking up, because when you see that big switch from, say, Van Dijk to Trent, you look at Salah. Salah's in the box. He's in the fucking box. He's like, we know this ball's coming and I'm in the box. And now when the big switch is happening, he's standing beside Nico Williams. He's standing beside him.
Because it was so susceptible now to the break with the lads there. Look, you're playing in the Premier League. Say you try the big switch against Leicester, for example. Their full back cuts around and goes to Tielemans. Just slice you open. One pass. We've been done by that one pass. I don't know how many times. Like the game, it happens to Nat Phillips at St. James's, and we get away with it. But and then it happens the other night to Reece Williams against the 17-year-old. This is this is the worst thing about this game coming on Sunday, because United will thrive off. They have Bruno playing balls like that to Rashford and Martial. So we've got to do something. We need a player in. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to say this now. We're not winning anything if we don't sign a centre back.
Okay, big show. Sullivan LFC with a super chat. He says the short corner on the 90th minute is so frustrating. Yeah, that did frustrate people, and I suppose that's a byproduct of how the game was going. Because in normal circumstances, Robertson comes over, Trent comes over, puts the arm in the air, and launches it in. Because it's not working for you, you try to do something different. That's just subconscious.
But it worked. Bobby
in the way you act.
In the 90th minute there a few weeks ago from a corner into the box, and now all of a sudden we're taking short.
Yeah, because
balls into the keeper.
Exactly, but it's the subconscious. Zeb Ahmed says we miss a player like Matip who drives forward from the back, and the likes of Keita. Jones is capable of driving forward, but it's like he's being held back, told to keep it simple, pass it sideways.
So that's a very important point.
Yeah, and it's a good point from Zeb. And look, the talk is that Klopp is looking for rhythm, he's looking for intensity, he's looking for us to get back to the way we were. And there's a lot of 11v11 stuff going on during this week. But listen, the one thing I won't do is turn around and tell you that Liverpool won't turn up on Sunday, because as I always said it, they react to adversity brilliantly, and there's no bigger game to do it. And we get on to that game in a little minute. Before we move on to the fourth round draw and who we think we'd like, have a little think, lads, of who you would like or wouldn't like in that draw. Just a quick word on our sponsors. So Manscaped, of course, is one of our sponsors. If you go to manscaped.com, you will get, and use LFCDT as your code at checkout, you will get 20% off and free shipping. And we've got some equipment, as you would call it, off them, and it's been sensational, so go and look them up. Footballprizes.co.uk. Check them out. They're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, and of course at that website I've just told you. They are memorabilia, signed, authenticated memorabilia. The current prize for Liverpool is a Jordan Henderson signed and framed jersey. That finishes up next Friday the 15th at 7:30 p.m. with the live draw at 8:30 p.m. But please go and follow these people on social media and look them up, because you're a Liverpool fan, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Spurs, Leeds, wherever you might be, they have something for you. And Colossus Bets, so unlucky this weekend. We picked our choices before the fucking Villa told us they were going to play their kids, and that killed us. We were one goal off in the Wolves game, and we got the Everton one correct. But colossusbets.com, if you go there and again use LFCDT as your referral code, you support us by doing that. You can get in, look us up, and you can see our syndicate. You can join in, and the big thing we want to do is whoever joins it or gets involved, let us know. We want to kind of get everyone together, and whatever syndicate we put together every week, we want you to be part of it. So go and look at colossusbets.com as well. Grizz, who do you want in the fourth round? Who would you not like in the fourth round?
I'd like Crawley at home.
Okay.
And I wouldn't like Man City away.
Okay. Keith, who would you like and not like?
Again, the easiest team in it is what you want, and you want them at Anfield as well, and you want to put their under 18s out. The chances are we'll probably get an away game against a fucking top 6 team. So, yeah, like that, Charlie or Crawley, give me them. But we'll probably get Chelsea or Everton.
Okay, Master of Disaster says Crawley, Charlie, or El Nino FC will do for me. And this is fair enough. Shawnee, who would you like and who would you not like?
Get a fucking selection of the 11 referees from the PGMOL and kick the bollocks out of my Anfield for 90 minutes, probably.
Okay. Dan J would like Luton for the memories. Someone said Norwich there. There's quite a few coming in. Olivier wants Everton. I still haven't forgiven Olivier because he told me the other night that Paul Pesci-Salido's face is on a Canadian quarter, I think it was. I believed him. I got really, really, really excited by it, and then he went, "I'm only messing with you," and I'm very upset by that. I haven't recovered. So I've been on the cans ever since, Olivier, because he said he was a national hero. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I think it would have been one of the best things I've ever found out in football. But Olivier absolutely had me off there. And Rajiv says that was brilliant by Olivier. It was outstanding. But I'm still not forgiving you. Grizz will tell you, when I hold a grudge, you're fucked. But for me, a home draw, Blackpool, someone along them, whatever. You just don't want. I think you get an away draw against Spurs, a Man City, a Man United, an Arsenal, a Chelsea. You write it off. I think he genuinely writes it. I think he has his team picked for the FA Cup, and it will all depend on who we get, whether we progress or not, because I genuinely think he has his team picked and ready to go.
As you said, once you get to the quarters, then you'll take it seriously. Until then, if you get through the rounds, you get through the rounds.
How many rounds is there? Because I know we haven't been.
Well, you've got third, fourth, fifth, sixth is the quarter-final, semi-final, final.
So the sixth game is the quarter-final.
Well, you've third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round is quarters, semi-final. So it's 7 games to win.
And we only win at the third round. So
yeah. Owen Borg says Man City have been drawn at home to Cherry Orchard.
Cherry Orchard's over 35.
Yeah. So it's it's one of those.
And when we're always getting these prem sides and this, aren't we? With Leicester, fucking Villa,
Chelsea,
yeah,
Wolves.
Yeah. We don't get we don't get sides where you just go, yes, brush them aside by half time and away we go. Although we did get handed that and then we didn't do it. Let me see. Stephen Mack says title of the pod is Liverpool versus Man United. Yes, it is. We're going to talk about that now. Relax Stephen. He gave out the other night as well because we're talking about a game in a match reaction show. Listen, you're an absolute spacer. Relax. Lads, we are going to get on to we're 1 week out from Man United, and I just want to see how you feel with a week beforehand, because we're going to do a lot around the game in the coming weeks. But before we do, we have a new show coming on Thursday. I can't tell you exactly what it is yet, but you know that Grizz, Keith, Seany, Garbrian, and a listener and a viewer of ours, Avi, all love talking about young players, who they spot, who they see, what they think of them, how they will feel they will progressing in their career, and who's one to watch and stuff like that. So we're going to put them on the spot every Thursday from 10 p.m. Starting this Thursday. It's all about scouting young players. It's all about letting the viewer know about them. The lads will probably be asked to bring 2 players every week. One is a player you will have heard of, and they really rate them and they feel that these are one for the absolute top. And the second player that you have to bring will be somebody that's a bit off the radar, you mightn't have heard of, but they feel that is one to watch, absolutely watch for the future. It is going to start at 10 p.m. on Thursday. This week will be, I think it's going to be myself. It's going to be one of the guys from the sponsors who are sponsoring this show, and it's going to be 2 of the lads from Keith, from Grizz, from Seany, from Gar, and from Avi. But as soon as we get this finalised, hopefully on Tuesday, we'll let you know. But we will ask you, whatever happens, please come and watch this. Please throw names at us. Please get involved. Please listen to what the lads have to say and support this, because we've worked extremely hard on this. All the lads have worked extremely, extremely hard on putting this together and getting it out there for you, because it's something that we've noticed. You love talking about up-and-coming players. You love picking out players that might be a bit off the beaten track, or something you haven't seen before. So this is a show that we've put together that we hope, really, really hope, that people get involved in and be there, because we are going to be watching the chat like a hawk every single Thursday night, okay? Moving on, Grizz, we're a week out. How are you feeling?
I shouldn't be feeling like this when we're going to play Man United. That's how I'm feeling. In recent times, I've looked forward to playing Man United, if you know what I mean, because I know we're going to pace them. And there's no better feeling still, even though Man City, I totally take as Man City as our closest rivals and our fiercest rivals and the best team along with us. I still take the most pleasure in beating Man United. And for the first time in probably Klopp's tenure, I don't know how I feel a bit, and I feel a bit nervous about it, and that's pissing me off, Gav, to be honest with you. And we're a week out. So the pots have gone, and it's not even Monday yet. That's how I feel. But going on from what you said at the end of your statement that you made with regards to the FA Cup game, there's no better game to raise it for, and adversity. This team strikes back every single time. Just when we forget about Klopp's mantra about turning from doubters into believers, just when we start doubting again, this team brings us back on track. And I'm hoping, Gav, that they bring us back on track, because there is suddenly slight doubt in the fan base about where we're going. And is this sort of, we've had the highest of highs and maybe we've peaked, you know, and this is the time to bring those doubters back, in my opinion. There's no better game, in my opinion, no better game than a game against Man United at Anfield to just, you know, bring that feeling back.
Okay. Chris Prosser says he feels the result next week will depend on Matip being back or a new centre-back being in, or United will beat us. That's his feeling on it. I know where he's coming from with that. I think it's, you know, people will tell you, you're overreacting, but it's the centre-back stuff is hard. I'm a bit more concerned with the top end of the pitch at times, you know. People are saying it's the first time playing United with Bruno Fernandes. There's a few Man United fans in there acting very, very confident about it. And fair play.
Why not?
Yeah. There's absolutely
the sun shine on that one. Every dog's bollocks every now and again, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's one of those. Keith, how are you feeling a week out? Because as I said, we are going to. Well, you're feeling brand new. Lovely. Go on.
Not bother. I think, you know, people are saying United are in great form. I don't think they're in great form at all. I think they're getting decisions that are getting them 1-0s, 2-1s. Grizz is shaking his head, and I know Sean.
I'm texting Big Joe Walsh to get your picture up on the King Kenny cloud.
No,
I don't see your picture on it.
It's never happening. But
he's right though. They're not playing well.
They're not playing well. They're getting this. They're not playing well, Grizz. They're getting this.
Grizz, if they come down to next Sunday and don't play well, they're going to win, Eddie. They get a result.
Let him finish, and then I'll say, I think they are playing well.
Will they?
I think they're playing well. I think there's players in there that basically what they're doing. Basically, what they're doing is what we do when we've got good players and we're not playing well. We can't keep saying they're not playing well. They've got good players that pull them out of the games.
So what we do when we're not playing well.
No, I get it, Keith. But do you know, like sort of last season when we weren't playing well, and the great players in our team or the good players in our team were pulling us out the fire. United are doing the same. They're not looking good. They're not looking good at all. You can carry on saying that until the end of the season. But they've got players like. But they've got players like Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, Martial, Rashford that can pull out something that enables them to win the game.
You haven't been watching them then. Martial is
I hate Martial, but I just wanted to add him in there. I think he's crap.
Listen,
but you know what I mean.
I'm actually, and it'll come back to bite me next week, I'm sure. I'm actually very confident about this because I think United are being lulled into a false sense of they're smelling themselves too much because they're you know, they're up near the top. They're up near the top because it's a poor league this year, right? They're up there because, you know, we're getting dragged back into the mix and other teams are peaking and dropping. This isn't a great United team. Now, they're a good side. I'm not saying they're not a good side. I think we'll lift their game. Now, I do agree that Matip will be key. If Matip plays, I think we've no issue there. I'd be more worried, obviously, if it's Reece Williams or it's Nat Phillips playing. Clearly, I mean, I'm not saying I'm confident with that, but if we have a walking centre back in there, I think we win them because I think we lift our game. I think THIAGO starts the game. I think this game would be made for a THIAGO. I think we're worrying about their midfield. Well, if we get THIAGO playing and starting, they need to worry about our midfield. Our forward should feed off. We're seeing snippets of what Liverpool can do with THIAGO, right? We're not great, don't get me wrong, by any stretch of the imagination. As we said earlier, he played against a lot of kids. You'd expect him to be pulling the strings. But THIAGO plays the way THIAGO plays. It doesn't matter who he's against. He's not going to be afraid of fucking Paul Pogba. And by the way, it's going to be Fred and it's going to be McTominay.
Agreed.
So it's not going to be bleeding Paul Pogba. He'll be on the bench. They're going to play to type and they're going to look to spring that ball over the top to us. That's our only worry, is that ball over the top. And look, we're susceptible to that. But they are not a great team in great form. They're getting very, very lucky results. They got an early goal against Watford, don't fuck all after it. They got goals, penalty decisions late in games they got a late goal against Wolves. They got dodgy penalty decisions. They're getting a lot of luck to get where they are, which is fair enough. But I don't think they're a great team in a great form. I agree.
Can I play devil's advocate here a bit, because I agree with you. I think I know there's one United fan I speak to, not online, not on the internet. He's a friend of mine, and he's extremely honest, right? And he said to me, not playing well, can't really defend. He said, but we are sitting back and we're getting numbers back to try protect that defence that he doesn't rate, and then we're looking to do people on the break, and we're looking to take our chances when they come. Now, my response to that was, I feel United are a little bit like 13-14 Liverpool. Not in the Liverpool conceded 50 goals in the league that season. 50 in the league that season when they came second, right? And his point to me is that, look, the only saving grace he has, and he says, like, it's weird to say an only saving grace when you were, top of the league on the same points with Liverpool, with a game in hand, you could go 3 clear, you could possibly go 6 clear after Anfield. The only saving grace he has is that we could improve. He said, we actually could improve. And if we improve that 10%, where does that put us? And I think it's a very fair point. If they improve 5% at the back and 5% going forward, they could absolutely be in a title race at the very end.
They have to go above a level that they've never been at.
They do have to go above a level, but do they? Because
they do, because they're saying they have to go another 10%. They haven't got players coming back that'll take them to that next level.
I understand that, but if the back four just manages to hold out and manages to improve a little bit as they go, Tellez gets more used to the people around them. What I'm saying to you is that the way we're looking at it at times is, they won't hold that level. What fucking level? Because we're all sitting here, and Manchester United and Manchester City and Liverpool are currently running at 2 points a game. 2 points a game in most seasons get you into Champions League. Doesn't win you a title. Nowhere fucking close. Now, the argument could be Liverpool and City are the ones that will actually go through and push that to 2.5 to 2.7 points a game, and they will end up around 85 points, and that'll win you a title. But what I'm saying to you is, there is no proof yet that Liverpool and Manchester City will do that. And I get Man City's next 6 fixtures, and I get Man City's last couple of games, but Man City over the last year and a half have they won 5 games in a row in the Premier League? I don't know. They may have done so recently. Okay, so as things stand, for me, you can't just presume levels, because the level isn't there. And do I believe Manchester United are better than Liverpool and City? Absolutely not. I don't think Manchester United fans do believe that either. But even if they come third in this league this season, they go, we're closer to them. We're closer to them, and we can do this and do that. So
yeah, absolutely, they're going in the right direction. There's no doubt about that. But what's the ceiling for this season? Yeah, they could sneak a league title, but I don't think that in order for United to win the league, they'll need Liverpool to they need Liverpool and City to maintain the levels that they have now. Now, I'm probably in the small minority that think Solskjaer is actually doing a decent job at United. I think he's doing a good job. I think they have got some really good players. I think Bruno was, if not one of the best player in the league at the moment. I think Son is the best player in the league at the moment, personally, but I think Bruno is definitely up there, and they've gone up levels since he's been there, but there's still the usual suspects there that let them down. Now, my worry going into this game on Sunday is nothing to do with United. It's more to do with us, Gaff. These games, you need to be clinical and you've got to be on it, and we just haven't been clinical and we haven't been on it. So that's where my worry comes into it. This game is going to get built up all week, no matter what result United get at Burnley midweek.
Are they away to Burnley midweek?
It doesn't matter where they are. This is going to be built up all week, and it's going to end up being a shite nil all, because neither team will want to lose. Solskjaer will not come to Anfield to set up to beat us. I guarantee it.
No way.
Yeah. He won't. He just won't, because he knows the fucking mask will slip if they get beaten, if they show up and try to have a go off us on the weekend. So
you see, I want Liverpool, and I've said this going to Old Trafford a couple of times. Liverpool need to be very measured in what they do, but at the same time, they need to go out and absolutely
need to perform. We need to perform.
Exactly, because I think if Liverpool come out and be overzealous in what they're trying to do, I think they could get picked off. I think if they go out and they stamp their authority on the game like they can, but in a measured sort of way, I think they will suffocate United. That's my feeling on it. That's early doors. That's before we get any team news during the week and stuff like
boys,
that.
You know me, I hate United as much as the next, if not more. But you have to give flowers. You've got some really, really good individual players. And Solskjaer's got a tune out of them the way. But like Keith said, it'll be McTominay and Fred and Bruno, and it'll be trying to hit us on the break. And they've had good results. They beat City 3 times last year, albeit not a great City. But they're gonna have to come to Anfield and have a go. And they're gonna need us to be as bad as we've been the last couple of weeks. The super chat came in there. Matip is huge for this game for me. If Matip's saying, I'll be 100% more confident going into the game. I just think the big issue with us is our front three. I just haven't been firing at all. We'll need that to change to get something from this game, because this is the type of game where you might only get 1 or 2 chances, and then De Gea on a bad day at Anfield has been good in a way. He's like, when he's come there and the arse was falling out of him and he was in no form, he's made big saves and got them a point there. We've got to turn up and play our own game on Sunday. None of this worrying about them. If we go up and play the way we can play, we should beat them, because let's be honest, there's loads of United fans in the chat here, and in your heart of hearts, you know, you aren't as good as us. Even the depleted, you aren't as good as us. I think over 38 games, you won't be near us, and that's just the way it is. And I think
Aiden makes a good point. He says United will do what they always do: defend deep and look to counter. The difference is now we are extremely vulnerable to counters. I think that's 100%. A very, very, very good point from Aiden.
But the thing is, sorry, but guys, we forget that. I think we were weaker personnel-wise against a better Spurs team. So we were weaker personnel-wise against.
And we had all the talk for that as well.
And we had all the talk. So this is record as well. Absolutely. So that's the game that we sort of have to look at and look to perform. Now, from that team, maybe that Phillips still plays. Williams plays, maybe. But hopefully, it looks like Matip may be fit for that. So if Matip replaces Williams in that, and then you got a young man called THIAGO coming in as well to replace whoever, I think Curtis Jones will be left out, then that changes the complexion completely. And look how good we played against Tottenham Hotspur. And I think that Tottenham Hotspur is a better team than this Man United team. So that's the positives. All I said at the start was, I'm nervous when I shouldn't be. And that's only because, as Seany says, because of the state of our minds and the state of the form we're in. Not sort of Man United are outstanding. As I said, they've got 2-3 very. I rate Rashford. You know, they've got Cavani back, who, in my opinion, is a fantastic. You know, is way better than Martial. You know, he's so intelligent. But the way I look at our game, the way I look at our team, is what makes me nervous. Not Man United.
He'll play Dan James as well. Dan James will play because he's fast. He'll play against us for the counter attack.
No, I think
Rashford.
There's a lot of talk around United having injuries. Lindelof, I think Pogba was mentioned in there as well. But we'll have to wait and see, and that's why during the week we'll cover it. Like we have got the forum tomorrow, which is 4 lads, 4 topics, 4 debates, and there is good topics there tomorrow night. Tuesday will be the midweek fix, but it'll be a transfer special. That's the only way we can fit those shows in together, if that's okay. Wednesday, Carnage. Am I right, Grizz?
You're right.
Yeah, Wednesday, Carnage. We'll have a Man United element. So any United fans in the chat, make sure to join us on Wednesday. Subscribe and come in and have a chat. We're absolutely open to people coming in and chatting about football and having your views and stuff like that. That's absolutely fine. Once you keep it to a, just be.
We should be leaking to the media all week that half the squad has COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, leave it to me, Seany. Leave it to me.
Okay. Imagine that. Grizz with John Aldridge outside the Albert League in the news.
now that we say it, there's talk now that apparently there's been a mini outbreak in the United squad. So
it's bollocks, probably.
I think you'll see that all week. Thursday, of course, is our new show. Friday will be the Friday forecast, where we will heavily preview Manchester United's visit to Anfield to play Liverpool on Sunday. Before we go, a couple of people in there tonight have made a donation via Super Chat to the hashtag Keane Strong. This is Keane Finnegan, for people that know, fine, people that don't. He's a 1-year-old child living in America. His father is Irish. He's a friend of people that do this podcast, and he was diagnosed at 5 months old with brain cancer. He is now a year old. He's in a sort of recovery, but look, it's a 5-month-old getting brain cancer. It's absolutely horrendous, and his recovery will take a long time, will cost an awful lot of money. He's looking for $100,000, and we're currently up around 75, I think, somewhere around that. The response has been brilliant. All we ask is that if you go to the description in this show, you'll see the link. If you want to copy and paste that link across all your social media or to friends and family, absolutely do so. If you can donate, absolutely do so. I will tell you that there's been donations of prizes sent to me personally and promised to me for this young lad. We are working, I promise, on a giveaway that will have multiple prizes. It will cost you a couple of pounds to enter, but when you enter, you'll be entered into a draw. If there's 20 prizes, there'll be 20 draws, and for that prize you will be in that draw. We're working with one of our sponsors, footballprizes.co.uk, in order to make this logistically happen. But I will tell you, by the end of this week, we will have photos and details of all the prizes that we've put together. We've got help from so many people, including listeners, including viewers. It's just something that we've decided that this season we literally just want to back this as long as we possibly can and get to that 100,000. Kieran Thorne and Jimmy Maguire, two viewers of this show, have put together 2 prizes for you that you will love. The Anfield Wrap, Redmen TV, Carl Toyer, who does the animations, he's been in. Moving Unit, at Moving Unit on Twitter, go and look him up, he's put a prize forward. Thecop.com, Sean Leonard Art has put stuff together. Our own Steve-O has given one of his pieces of memorabilia forward as well. Football prizes are thrown in a prize as well. 3 Retro are giving us a prize. There's loads of prizes there. Another listener tonight won a prize from a League of Ireland club and said, listen, you can have it, give it away. So that sort of stuff is amazing. But this week we will prize picture and detail exactly what's involved, and there may be more by the end of the week, and then we will try logistically put this together. But we will look for your support now. And as I said, it'll probably cost you £5. That's what we're looking at. But every time you give £5, you will be entered into a draw. Every single prize will be chosen individually. So every time we go to another prize, your name goes back in the hat. That's how it's going to work. So please support it. Please copy and paste from the description, and it's our pinned tweet and stuff like that. Just go. If you can donate, brilliant. But if not, just please share it. And when this stuff is announced, if you can just spread it as far as you possibly can, and we can raise as much money as we can. I know I go on about this all the time, but I know the lads that are on with me now and are on every other time this show is on, absolutely support this. Grizz, anything else before we go?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You good? That's a big logo on your jumper.
Can't see it.
Slazenger, is it, Grizz? Yeah.
Slazenger. He's absolutely nailed you there.
Oh, he's gone for you there. I can't speak.
He's had a right go, hasn't he?
That's what you get for cutting across him earlier.
We're all friends here.
We are. For the moment. Keith, anything else before we go?
No. Good luck to everyone for the week. Good luck to all the Man United fans in the chat. You know, as Gav said, we welcome everybody here. Once it stays friendly and stays civil, you are more than welcome. But, you know, smell you ourselves next week, lads, and we'll see where we are.
Okay, fighting words there, Keith. Seany and the plastic tree. It's actually grown. It's nearer to your head. There's a branch coming out there. Yeah. It's nearer to your head. I think that's fucking weird, Seany. Anything else before we go?
Just leave me fucking tree alone, will you, for fuck's sake?
Yeah.
I feel like Keith now in his obscure football tracksuits now. It's going out the window. You won't see it next week. It's his last appearance.
Okay, I think that's a no from Seany when I asked him his trying less for this before we go. But look,
Yeah, hold on. It was Michael Bowen. Yeah, I'll give you an apology, lad.
Yeah.
My God. Here, do you know what? It's 8 years since you won on a title. So based on your thoughts in the chat tonight, I'd say you are probably about 9 when these last won the league. So enjoy it, kid. It's all ahead of you. Trust me, I did it all. I did it all for my whole life. So
it's great. It's fun, isn't it? Enjoy the ride while it's there.
I remember as well. I remember when we thought we had a chance.
Yeah, I remember when Rock was young. There you go. Lads, that has been the Fatback 4. Thanks a million for watching. Everyone in the chat, great. Everyone, super chat's great. I've taken note of people that have made a donation towards Keane, and that will be forwarded on to them. I absolutely guarantee that. That's been it. Have a good one. Over and out.